Some conversations in English do not end because you have nothing to say. They end because your mind suddenly becomes empty. Someone asks you a simple question. You understand the question. You answer it. Then there is a pause. The other person looks at you. You look at them, and your brain quietly leaves the room.
The silence is only 3 seconds, but emotionally, it feels much longer.
Exactly. It feels like everyone can hear your nervousness. You want to continue, but you do not know how. You want to sound natural, but you are busy thinking, what should I say next?
Today, we are talking about that moment. The awkward moment when a conversation stops and you are not sure how to bring it back to life.
By the end of this episode, you will have simple phrases, gentle follow-up questions, and a new way to think about silence in English conversations. You will also watch us build one friendly cartoon character step by step. A conversation buddy who represents calm, curiosity, and connection.
This character will help you remember that conversation is not a performance. It is a bridge between two people.
Welcome back to the English Conversation Podcast. I am Sarah.
And I am Mike.
This is your cozy corner of the internet for real English conversations. Not perfect English, natural English, honest English.
Today's drawing is simple and clear. We will draw one main character standing on a small bridge, holding a speech bubble. The bridge represents connection. The speech bubble represents the next sentence. The character represents you, the learner, staying calm even when your mind feels blank.
First, draw a large round head near the center of the page. Keep the head soft and friendly. This is important because the character should feel safe, open, and easy to approach.
The head is where the conversation starts, not because you need perfect thoughts, but because you need a calm place to begin.
Now draw short rounded hair on top of the head. Paint the hair warm brown. Keep the hair simple, smooth, and neat. Do not add complicated lines.
Warm brown hair gives the character a gentle, everyday feeling. This is not a superhero. This is a normal person learning how to speak with more confidence.
Next, draw two large eyes. Paint the eyes black. Add small highlights by leaving tiny blank spots inside the eyes. The eyes should look kind and curious, not scared.
Curious is a very important word today. Curious means interested and wanting to know more. A curious person does not need to have a perfect answer. A curious person can ask one more question.
That is the first secret to keeping a conversation going. You do not always need to say something impressive. Sometimes you only need to ask, "Really? What happened next?"
Or, how did you feel about that?
Or, "What made you decide that?"
Those are follow-up questions. A follow-up question is a question you ask after someone says something to invite them to continue.
Now draw two soft eyebrows above the eyes. Paint the eyebrows dark brown. Make them slightly raised because the character is listening with interest.
Raised eyebrows can show attention. They say, I am here. I am listening. Please continue.
This matters because conversation is not only words. Conversation is also body language. When your face looks open, the other person feels invited.
Now draw a small round nose in the center of the face. Paint the nose light peach. Keep it simple. Do not add shadows that make the face look too realistic.
The nose is small because it is not the focus. The focus is expression. The character should look calm and ready to listen.
Next, draw two small ears on each side of the head. Paint the ears light peach. Make them round and clear.
The ears remind us that good conversation is not only speaking, it is listening. Many learners worry about speaking so much that they forget listening is already part of the conversation.
That is a comforting idea. If you are listening carefully, you are already participating.
Exactly. You do not need to fill every second. You can listen, nod, and then ask a simple question.
Now draw a gentle smiling mouth. Paint the inside of the mouth soft pink and paint the lips a light rose color. The smile should be small and relaxed, not too big.
A small smile can help when you feel nervous. It tells the other person, I am still with you. It also tells your own body, we are safe enough to continue.
Let's pause here and talk about the first awkward conversation problem. Many English learners answer too quickly and too shortly.
Someone says, how was your weekend? And the learner says, good. Then the conversation stops.
The answer is not wrong. It is just closed.
Closed means there is no door for the other person to walk through.
A better answer gives a small detail, not a long story, just a small open door.
Instead of good, you can say, it was good. I finally had time to rest on Saturday.
Now the other person can ask, oh, were you busy last week?
Or you can say, it was nice. I went to a small cafe with a friend.
Now the other person can ask about the cafe, the friend, or the food.
A small detail is like a handle on a door. It gives the other person something to hold.
That is beautiful. A conversation needs handles.
Now return to the drawing. Under the head, draw a short neck. Paint the neck light peach. Then draw two relaxed shoulders. Keep the shoulders low, not tense.
Low shoulders show calm. When people feel awkward, their shoulders often rise. They protect themselves without noticing.
But our conversation buddy is learning to stay open. The shoulders are relaxed because the character does not need to panic when silence appears.
Silence is not always danger. Sometimes silence is just a pause.
That is the second big idea today. A pause is not failure.
Repeat that to yourself. A pause is not failure.
In English, you can use a pause to think. You can even say, let me think for a second.
That sentence is very useful. It gives you time without making the moment strange.
Now draw the left arm coming down from the shoulder. Paint the arm light peach. Bend the elbow slightly. Draw the left hand open with 5 simple fingers.
Paint the left hand light peach. Keep the fingers rounded. The open hand means welcome. It says, I am not closing the conversation. I am making space.
The left hand will point gently toward the other person. This gesture shows interest.
Now draw the right arm bent upward. Paint the right arm light peach. Draw the right hand holding a speech bubble string, like the character is gently lifting the next sentence into the air.
Paint the right hand light peach. Make the fingers clear and simple. No extra fingers. No complicated hand shape.
The speech bubble is important. Draw a rounded speech bubble near the upper right side of the character. Paint the speech bubble pale yellow, inside the bubble, write, tell me more.
Tell me more is one of the best phrases for keeping a conversation going. It is short, natural, and warm.
It works when someone tells you something interesting, emotional, confusing, or important.
For example, someone says, I had a strange day at work. You can say, really? Tell me more.
Someone says, I am thinking about moving. You can say, oh wow, tell me more.
Someone says, I tried something new this weekend. You can say, that sounds interesting. Tell me more.
It is simple, but it keeps the door open.
Now draw the torso. Make a simple shirt shape under the shoulders. Paint the shirt sky blue. Keep the shirt clean and smooth.
Blue is a calm color. It helps the character feel steady. A steady person does not rush to escape the silence.
On the center of the shirt, draw a small heart. Paint the heart red. The red heart represents warmth. Conversation should have warmth, not pressure.
This is important. Many learners treat conversation like a test, but most everyday conversations are not tests. They are small moments of human connection.
Now draw the lower body. Draw simple pants under the shirt. Paint the pants dark blue. Keep both legs straight but relaxed.
The legs help the character stand steadily on the bridge. This reminds us to stay grounded.
Grounded means emotionally stable, not floating away with nervous thoughts.
When you feel awkward, your mind might say, I am failing. They think I am boring. I should leave.
But grounded English says, this is just a moment. I can ask one more question.
Now draw the shoes. Paint the shoes soft gray. Make them rounded and simple. Both shoes should stand on a small bridge.
Draw the bridge under the character's feet. Make it a gentle curved bridge with 3 wooden planks. Paint the bridge warm green.
A green bridge may not be realistic, but it is symbolic. Green can represent growth. Every conversation is practice. Every small sentence helps you grow.
Under the bridge, draw a small stream. Paint the stream light blue. The stream represents the flow of conversation.
Flow is another key word. Flow means smooth movement. In conversation, flow happens when both people give and receive.
Sometimes the flow slows down. That is normal. You do not need to force it. You only need a small bridge phrase.
A bridge phrase connects one part of the conversation to the next.
Useful bridge phrases include, that reminds me of something. Speaking of that, I know what you mean. And that is interesting because...
Let's practice. Sarah, give me a short answer.
My weekend was quiet.
I could say, nice, and then stop.
Which is okay, but it might close the conversation.
Better? A quiet weekend sounds nice. Did you need some rest?
That feels natural because you repeated part of my answer and asked a follow-up question.
Exactly. Repeating part of what someone said is another secret.
If someone says, I started a new job, you can say, a new job? That is exciting. How is it going so far?
If someone says, I have been really busy, you can say, really busy? What has been taking most of your time?
If someone says, I watched a great movie, you can say, a great movie? What was it about?
You do not need to create a new topic from nothing. You can use the words they already gave you.
That is a huge relief. The conversation gives you material.
Now add small details around the character. On the left side of the bridge, draw 3 tiny flowers. Paint 1 flower pink, 1 flower purple, and 1 flower orange. Keep the leaves green.
The flowers represent small details. A conversation grows when you add little details.
Instead of saying, I went out, say, I went out for coffee with my sister.
Instead of saying, work was hard, say, work was hard because we had a long meeting.
Instead of saying, I am tired, say, I am tired, but I feel better after walking outside.
Small details make you easier to talk to.
Now, on the right side of the bridge, draw a small sign. Paint the sign tan. Paint the signpost brown. On the sign, write, add, return.
This is our simple conversation formula.
Ask means ask a follow-up question.
Add means share one small detail about yourself.
Return means send the conversation back to the other person.
For example, someone asks, "Do you like cooking?"
A closed answer is yes.
A better answer is, "Yes. I like cooking simple food, especially pasta. How about you?"
That answer asks nothing at first, but it adds a detail and returns the conversation.
Another example. Someone asks, "Do you like your neighborhood?"
You can say, yes, I like it because it is quiet and there is a park nearby. What about your area?
Simple, natural, balanced.
This is why how about you is so powerful.
Yes. How about you is one of the easiest ways to keep a conversation going. It returns the ball.
Conversation is like gently passing a ball. You do not hold it forever. You do not throw it too hard. You receive it, add something, and pass it back.
Now let's add a second speech bubble near the bottom center of the image. Paint it pale yellow like the first one. Inside, write, "How about you?"
This phrase should be clear and easy to read. It is one of the main phrases of the episode.
Let's talk about feeling awkward. Awkward means uncomfortable in a social situation. It does not mean something is truly wrong. It means the moment feels strange.
English learners often think awkwardness means failure.
But native speakers feel awkward too.
Very often.
Sometimes people run out of things to say in their own language.
Sometimes two people just do not match well.
Sometimes both people are tired.
Sometimes the room is noisy, the timing is strange, or the topic is too small.
So please do not blame your English for every awkward moment.
That is an important point. Not every silence is your fault.
And not every conversation needs to be saved.
Some conversations are naturally short.
If someone gives very short answers and does not ask anything back, you can still be polite, but you do not need to work alone.
Conversation is a shared activity. It is not your job to carry everything.
Still, when you want to continue, you can use 5 gentle tools.
Tool 1. Repeat one word and ask more.
Example: a new apartment? How do you like it?
Tool 2. Ask about feelings.
Example: how did you feel when that happened?
Tool 3. Ask about details.
Example: what kind of food did you try?
Tool 4. Add your own small experience.
Example: I had a similar problem last month.
Tool 5. Return the question.
Example: what about you?
Now draw 3 small stars above the speech bubble. Paint 1 star yellow, 1 star blue, and 1 star pink.
The stars represent these small tools. They are simple, but they make the conversation brighter.
Let's move into 5 conversation starters you can use immediately.
Starter 1? That sounds interesting. What happened next?
Use this when someone tells you a story and you want them to continue.
Starter 2. I know what you mean. I have felt that before.
Use this when you want to show connection before sharing your own thought.
Starter 3. That reminds me of something.
Use this when you want to move naturally from their story to your story.
Starter 4. Can I ask you more about that?
Use this when the topic feels personal and you want to be polite.
Starter 5. How about you?
Use this when you have answered and want to return the conversation.
Let's test them in a short conversation.
Sarah, how was your day?
It was a little strange. I had a meeting that did not go the way I expected.
That sounds interesting. What happened next?
Well, we started with one topic, but then everyone began talking about something else.
I know what you mean. I have been in meetings like that before.
Yes, and I felt a little lost.
Can I ask you more about that? Did you feel lost because of the topic or because people were speaking too fast?
Mostly because people were speaking too fast.
That reminds me of something. When I am in a fast conversation, I sometimes write down one key word so I can follow the topic.
That is helpful.
How about you? What do you usually do when people speak too fast?
I ask them to repeat the main point. I say, "Sorry, can you say the main idea again?"
That short conversation kept moving because we used simple bridges.
No pressure, no performance, just curiosity.
Now let's do the word tour. Pick 2 or 3 words from today and try to use them this week.
1. Awkward. Awkward means socially uncomfortable or strange. Example, there was an awkward silence after my answer.
Repeat, awkward.
2. Follow-up question. A follow-up question is a second question that continues the topic. Example, where did you go? Then, what did you like about it?
Repeat, follow-up question.
3. Curious. Curious means interested and wanting to know more. Example, a curious listener makes conversation easier.
Repeat, curious.
4. Detail. A detail is a small piece of information. Example, add one detail to make your answer more interesting.
Repeat, detail.
5. Flow. Flow is smooth movement. Example, the conversation had a natural flow.
Repeat,
6. Pause. A pause is a short stop. Example, a pause gives you time to think.
repeat, pause.
7. Connection. Connection is the feeling that two people understand or relate to each other. Example, small, honest answers create connection.
Repeat, connection.
8. Open-ended. Open-ended means a question that cannot be answered with only yes or no. Example, what was the best part of your trip is open-ended.
Repeat, open-ended.
9. Stuck. Stuck means unable to move forward. Example, I felt stuck because I did not know what to say.
Repeat, stuck.
10. Return the question. Return the question means asking the other person the same or a similar question after you answer. Example: I like quiet weekends. How about you?
Repeat. Return the question.
Now look at the finished drawing. We have the round head, brown hair, black curious eyes, dark brown raised eyebrows, light peach nose, light peach ears, soft pink mouth, relaxed neck, low shoulders, open arms, simple hands, sky blue shirt, red heart, dark blue pants, soft gray shoes, green bridge, light blue stream, colorful flowers, tan sign, brown signpost, pale yellow speech bubbles, and bright stars.
Every part has a meaning. The eyes remind you to be curious. The ears remind you to listen. The smile reminds you to stay gentle. The open hand reminds you to invite the other person. The bridge reminds you to connect.
And the speech bubbles remind you that you only need one next sentence.
Not 10 sentences, not perfect grammar. One next sentence.
Your challenge this week is simple. In one English conversation, use the formula: ask, add, return.
Ask one follow-up question. Add one small detail. Return the question with, "How about you?"
And tell us in the comments, what is harder for you, starting a conversation or keeping it going?
We genuinely want to know, because your answers help us create better lessons for real learners.
If this episode helped you, subscribe and share it with someone who freezes during English conversations.
And remember, awkward silence is not the end of the conversation.
Sometimes it is just the place where the next honest sentence begins.
Take good care of yourself.
And take good care of your English.
This is Mike.
And this is Sarah.
See you next Monday. Same time, same place.
Stay curious, stay gentle, and keep the conversation going.